We're officially a month away from the start of NFL training camp, and the Dolphins have a ton of positions that need some clarity. Joining me on the Dolphins in Depth podcast is Isaiah Smalls, Miami Herald beat reporter. I am Omar Kelly, Miami Herald columnist. Isaiah, this episode is going to focus on our biggest issues and concern about the Miami Dolphins offense. We saw what was done this offseason, the dumping of Tua Tagovailoa, the release of Tyreek Hill, the trading away of Jalen Waddle, the not re-signing Darren Waller. Basically, every playmaker on this team, with the exception of Devon Achane, who did manage to get an extension, was shown the door. That means you've got a new quarterback in Malik Willis, as long as he can beat out Quinn Ewers. I'm still not anointing him the starter until we see a steady progression throughout training camp and the exhibition season. We've got an experienced stable of running backs, especially if Devon Achane stays healthy, an inexperienced receiver unit, an inexperienced tight end unit, and half of an established offensive line. Isaiah, what is your biggest concern about the 2026 Miami Dolphins offense?
I have a couple, if you would allow me that. One, obviously, we have offensive line depth. I think outside of the center position, I think everybody else in terms of the depth, like that second line, it's anybody's game, right? I mean, can DJ Campbell step up? The 6th round pick, I believe. Jamari Sailor, like what has he got?
So you're not worried about the starters. You're worried about depth on the offense?
I'm worried about the depth, to be honest.
Okay, that's fair.
Because I think, and you posed this question to Half, right? For all intents and purposes, and what's presumably going to happen in 2027 is that Caden Proctor will be the right tackle, assuming, AJ leaves in free agency, whatever, right? So for right now, why not give him a little bit of experience with Austin Jackson being out during the offseason program? Why not just try him there? And the answer from Half was, look, we don't want to overload a young player, which, ironically is not what he said about Chris Johnson, but we'll talk about that later. But they want to keep him at that guard position. And so I'm worried because I forget the numbers, but I think over the last couple years, Austin Jackson has played 30-something games, right? It's not a high number. And so, God forbid he gets injured again. What happens, right? Are we going to throw Proctor out there? Is it going to be Jamar Sailor's town? Like, what's going to happen? But then, okay, cool.
Of course we're going to throw Proctor out.
Okay, so we throw Proctor out there. Then who takes that guard spot? Is it
DJ Campbell? DJ Campbell or Jameer Sailor.
Okay. Yeah, but again,
Jamari Sailor. Here's I do want to address something you said on Chris Johnson, and we're going to tackle the defense on a later episode. While they do want him to play boundary and nickel, his job is to be the nickel cornerback.
Okay.
That is job number one. And I don't think they're going to put more on his plate until he shows that he can do it. This isn't like Caden Proctor, because Caden Proctor is his primary job is going to be guard. Now, if he's needed, if something does happen to Austin Jackson, which I want to make another point about Austin Jackson, then of course he's going to go to tackle. He's a mammoth offensive guard. Unless you're just absolutely mauling people on the left side of the offensive line between those twin towers, he's clearly got to move to tackle. I think he was drafted as not only insurance for if Patrick Paul prices himself out of your price range, you move Caden Proctor over to left tackle, you move Patrick Paul for a first-round pick, but also Austin Jackson is going to be graduating from the program more than likely as his age elevates and they continue to ask him to take a pay cut. However, I do want to make a point about Austin Jackson. I like what you're saying about the depth. I have preached for a decade that the depth on the offensive line has been piss poor and has consistently held back this unit. You are right. There hasn't been a season I've covered the Dolphins where they haven't needed their 7th or 8th offensive lineman for at least 3 games. It hasn't happened around here. That's just the nature of that position. But Austin Jackson, in fairness to him, first injury, high ankle sprain that he worked his way back from and obviously re-aggravated. The next year, he finished the season and played with an abdominal injury that I think it was obliques, like a tear in his obliques. Can you imagine how hard it is to play with a tear in your obliques?
No,
That's why he took the contract offer that they were offering him, because he knew, I need to get the money now. And then last year, think about it. We want to sit here and paint Austin Jackson as injury prone. Somebody stepped on his foot and broke it. What do you want him to do?
And look, I'm not calling him injury
And
prone.
then he tried to come back too early, re-injured the injury, and then went on IR. Came back, was still playing on the injury, but people like you want to call him soft and injury prone.
Whoa. First of all, you'll never hear me call an NFL player soft. That is not. Those are words that will never come out of my mouth, because those are grown men. Those are gladiators that put their life on the line. I'm reading Michael Bennett's book, Things That Make White People Uncomfortable, and it's really changing my mind about the NFL as a business. And so I'll never call another grown man, let alone an NFL player who puts his butt on the line every Sunday, soft. What I am saying, though, is that if we just go by history, right, and accidents happen, and that I can understand that. But sometimes, like, certain things might not be in your cards, right? And I'm not saying football's not in his cards, but if God forbid something else happens, I know in the back of his mind there's going to be you will have, like, it's human to wonder, dang, maybe this isn't what God or whatever person that you have has set out for me, right? And so that's what I'm just preparing people for, because again, you play 32 games over the last 4 seasons. Granted, there's been some freak accidents along the way, but that's 8 games a season. That's not even half a season, right? And so that's all I'm saying there. And okay. And so if you would oblige me, or you have anything else on that? Because I was going to go to my second big. Sorry.
Oh, you got more than one?
Oh, I got more than one for sure.
You got you.
Outside of Devon Achane, who do you trust in that running back room? Be honest.
Ollie Gordon.
You didn't say that confident enough for me, and that is that begs the question, and that, like, to me, is why we have an issue. Outside of Devon Achane, I don't think there's enough running back depth. And
I agree with you on that. There isn't enough running back depth to make it through training camp. 2 of those guys are going down, and then you're going to be signing guys off the street, and then they're not going to know the playbook. It never fails. It never fails around it.
And I think, to me, the thing that is really concerning about the running back depth is we know Devon Achane doesn't really get hit as much, right? But at the same time, this man is 5'9", 191, right? God forbid he takes one of those hits. You know, I want, and one second thing is he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot more, I think. Like, this is going to be.
There's no way he can have the ball in his hand more.
Yeah, yes, there is. They'll figure it out. They're going to figure it out, because he is, to the point that you made, the only established playmaker on this team. And when you have a guy that is as dynamic as Devon Achane, you have to get him the ball in any way possible. I'm not saying
there's going to be a lot of people, 8-man in the box, a lot of linebackers shadowing Devon Achane. Yeah. He's going to get a lot of attention.
I know. I'm sure.
They better find something else. That's the big thing. I'm not sure exactly what that something else is. But let's move on to our next question. I need you to identify 5 players on offense you absolutely know with absolute certainty that you can count on them to have an excellent season, barring injury.
Excellent. Wait. Because remember, me being on this beat has really changed my adjective. Excellent or a good season.
I'll go with
excellence up here. Good is like, you know,
a good season.
Okay. Thank you. I think I can only name 3. I can give you Devon Achane, Aaron Brewer, and Patrick Paul. And everybody else, I'd be lying to tell you that I 100% expect them to have a good season. Yeah, a good season. I think maybe, and if we're gonna kind of take a step back and say average, above
No,
average.
no, we're not. No, we're not taking a step back and saying average because the bar needs to be moved to a higher level with this organization. We have dwelled in the land of average for 2 decades.
I agree.
And this is a new regime, new expectations. We are pouring into these young players. And you're right. You make a good point. I think I can stretch it to 4.
Who's the 4th?
I do have confidence and belief that Greg Dulcich is going to maximize his opportunities if he is healthy.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at that.
I see the same ability that Mike Gesicki had. I hope he's a better blocker than Mike Gesicki. There's no reason why he should not become Malik Willis's primary target. I strongly encourage you, if you have a fantasy football team, don't make him your first tight end drafted, but definitely put him on your team. Because he is going to be heavily targeted. So, but you're right. I pretty much can only go to 4. If Austin Jackson, I was convicted that he can stay healthy, and I think this is going to be a prove it season for Austin Jackson.
It is 100%.
Because if he gets injured, you'll be playing for the minimum salary for the rest of your career, however long that lasts. If you have a forceful, dominant season, at the worst case scenario, you'll be playing for $5 to $7 million a year as somebody's, veteran starter or veteran 6th man. If you have a dynamic season, you could be in the $20 million a year realm based on how they're paying these offensive linemen. But to address my first question and the position that I'm very not comfortable with is the wide receiver room. And I wish I could name a name for you to give you some confidence and some reassurance. I feel like this team needs to add better veterans than Jalen Reagor, who Isaiah has a nice familiarity with from his time as an Eagles fan. If you're going to add veteran receivers, let's step the bar up just a little bit. Because I'm not too confident right now that Tutu Atwell is going to be making this team. I'm not too confident that Theo Weiss Jr. is going to be an impact player. I'm not too confident that Caleb Douglas is going to be ready as a rookie contributor. So if those 3 things that I just said don't happen, what then?
It's the Malik Washington show, which, that is who I kind of expect to emerge as a wide receiver 1. I don't know.
Wide receiver 1, uno?
The wide receiver 1 on this team.
Wide receiver uno?
Uno on this team. This team.
Woo.
I mean, who else do you think? And again,
I think Jalen Tolbert is going to be wide receiver number 1.
I haven't seen enough from what plays have you seen him?
I didn't say I've seen plays. I've seen consistent, steady production. Malik Willis favors him, finds him, likes the size of the target.
Favors who?
Jalen Tolbert. I thought Jalen Tolbert was
3rd on the list behind Malik Washington. He's 3rd. Greg, Malik, Jalen. Come on now.
I would go Jalen, Malik, just in terms of what I saw. But, listen. And if we go through Jalen Tolbert's career in Dallas, yes, things went south for him last year after they acquired George Pickens. But the season before that, he was a steady, competent number 2.
Yeah, solid.
Now, why did nobody decide to pay him or give him an opportunity outside of the Dolphins? Who knows? But maybe he saw this as an opportunity to really carve out an established career for himself. But you're right, Isaiah. I cannot name you 5 players on offense that I feel confident about, and that should be a major concern for the Dolphins. How about this question, Isaiah? I need 3 players with massive question marks next to their name on offense.
Okay. I'm going to go from the top down. Malik Willis. I mean, as much as we want him to be, and as much as we're wowed by that small sample size that he had in Green Bay, there's a reason why he hasn't gotten much playing time, right? He'd been a career backup up until this opportunity. Now, it's not saying that I don't want him to do well or he's not going to do well. I literally just don't know. And I think when you trade away a Jalen Waddle and you gut the receiver room like you did, it makes the question mark even bigger. because who is he going to throw the ball to? To your point earlier, they're going to stack the box because Devon Achane's back there. So then what now? Who are you going to be able to make the throws?
Yeah.
Because you're gonna if they stack the box, that's a lot of one-on-one coverage on the outside.
Yeah.
So you got to be able to have guys make. You got to have receivers and pass catchers that can make guys miss. 2, you have to be able to put it on the money. Can he do those things at a high level? I don't know. And anybody that says that he can at a high level is lying to you because the sample size is just too small. And I would argue, and I'm not even the biggest fan of the pass catching unit in Green Bay, but it's certainly better than the one they have here. So it is what it is. Let's go down. I'm going to jump to the offensive line. Jonas Savaiinaya. I think he'll tell you himself that he had a terrible year last year, right? And because whether it was because he was playing a position he never played in left guard, was it because the offense he's a bad match for the offense? We don't know.
Or was it just ability?
And so I think this is a big year for him because, one, he's going back to his original home. Right guard is a position he's played tremendously more of than any other position. And now it's going to require him to get back into what he did not in 2025 but in 2024. But even then, I remember Slowick saying something to the effect of, when you play one position for an entire year, you have, even if it didn't look good, that's what you have mentally. Those are the mental reps you have. And so now you kind of got to forget all that and revert to something you did couple years back.
You don't have to forget it. You just gotta switch sides.
You gotta switch sides, but that's easier said than done because that's different footwork. And so now you're gonna be, and who knows what the footwork's gonna look like immediately, right? I think that's the thing that I'm gonna be paying attention to once training camp starts. They actually put the pads on because, as I told you guys, you can't really tell what's going on in the offensive line when they're in shirts.
And truth be told, you're not going to be able to tell anything going against Kenneth Grant. Those two just played tiddlywinks all practice. It's like this, pat. You know that game where you played in the schoolyard where it's like, yes, you're not going to be able to tell anything until the pads come out. And I wish Jonah the best.
Of course.
He's got ability. Talking to players last year who were his teammates, they said just his fundamentals were just non-existent. Bad coaching in college. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. He needs to work on his fundamentals, technique, get stronger, and I think he's done that under Aaron Brewer's leadership. I think all of these offensive linemen are going to be grinding in the offseason. I don't have a doubt. I felt like at the end of the year last year, they were the best unit on the team, and they paved the way and opened the door for Devon Achane to have the Pro Bowl season that he did. They strained and finished to the end. Now, the question is there more meat on the bone? And I don't know that. I'm dying to know that. What would you say is the
I got to name one more player.
Okay.
Jonah, I said Malik Willis, and I will go, let's say, I'm going to go Jalen Wright, actually, because for all intents and purposes, this conversation about not having enough running back depth should be null and void because they have a Jalen Wright. They have a Doak Walker award winner in Ollie Gordon II, but it's there. The conversation exists because we haven't seen enough, right? For me, Jalen Wright is something we've talked about a lot. It just sometimes looks like he struggles to hit the hole with as much power that you would want in an NFL game. And sometimes it's like, okay, are you even reading the hole, right?
I think it's more of an issue of I don't trust his vision. I don't see the lamps and finding running lanes. You know, at Tennessee, when you looked at him, and when I did look at him, he's a jump cut runner, and I like it. And when he's got an open hole, he's got that breakaway speed. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you got to grind out those 4-yard runs. And while he had a 100-yard performance last season. Let's not ignore that. And while remember, he came back from a knee injury, and I'm sorry, I would give him a better chance to showcase himself if he were healthy. And everybody coming back from a knee injury is not 100% by the time even when the season is finished. You're just out there. I'm curious to see what he does this training camp with the pads on. Last training camp, as you know, Jalen Wright was invisible. He absolutely disappeared up until the injury. And I need to see a guy play with the hunger that, hey, I'm just a jag if I don't show myself and showcase the talent that I have that made the Dolphins trade into the 4th round to select me. And it'll be interesting to see if that's there. He's a Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel really wanted him, really targeted him.
Yeah.
He liked his style. Who knows if Jeff Hadley's going to like that style? It's unknown. Now, for me, I think I would name similar players. Jalen Wright is definitely a player that I would name. I would name Jonah Savaiinaea. You're absolutely right. But then I also named Tutu Atwell. I saw him show up. We saw 7 practices. I saw him show up for 1. And the speed is there. The ability is there. The experience is there. You are the most you are the most experienced receiver on this unit. Why did it not look like that in practice? And that, to me, I would have him right now as a veteran that is on the fringe of being cut, because if you're just going to give me average, I'm investing my average in an undrafted player. I'm investing my average in a young player that gives me upside, unless you're going to be a returner. Now, if Tutu Atwell is going to be a returner, cool. Because we if Malik Washington gets elevated, Malik's not going. We can't have a starting receiver out there handling punts and kickoffs, returns. And I do believe Malik's going to be elevated. But Tutu Atwell, definitely a player that I need him to step up. I know the talent is there.
Sure.
The question is, for me, is the hunger there? I know Northwestern players, and I know that they play with a certain level of hunger. Did that $8 million you got last year from the Rams make your hunger go away? Because right now, you didn't practice like you wanted a starting position. And to me, that's a little bit troubling. Let's get to our next category, which is, what's the deepest unit in your mind for this Dolphins team on offense?
I mean, like, if I'm counting, they have a lot of offensive linemen. I don't know how many are
good.
Yeah, I think outside of like Andrew Meyer, who we know is a competent backup, I don't know if there is a guy. I mean, Jamari Sailor has starting experience, so
yeah, I think he's 40 plus starts.
But Charlie Heck, I believe, has some starting experience. But like, can I call them the deepest unit? No. Maybe I'll go quarterback room, maybe. But even then, it's like,
yeah,
I guess I don't really have a good answer to that question.
I would actually say the running back room, because we know we got a Pro Bowler there. I do believe that Ollie Gordon, if given the opportunities and touches, would be a 1,000-yard runner. I'm not sure about Jalen Wright, and I don't know what else is in that backfield. But we truthfully speaking, I won't know until they put the pads on. Who was a running back last year who we didn't?
Madison. He was
Alexander Madison. That guy was invisible to me until he put on the pads. Then when he put on the pads, I felt like he was challenging for the number 2 spot. I felt like that job was his. So I'm not rushing to judgment on the running game until we start to put the pads on. But for now, I would say the running back position is probably the deepest unit. And the final question. For this 2026 Dolphins team to produce a winning season, I didn't say playoffs. I said a winning season. That means 9 victories.
Mm-hmm.
What needs to happen offensively, Isaiah?
Couple things. One, the offensive line has to dominate. Jonah has to take that step. Caden has to look like a NFL guard from day one of the higher level guards from day one, and they get that running game cooking. 2, Malik Willis has to play up to the expectations that Half and Sullivan had when they signed him. This is a guy that can be a franchise guy, right? So he's going to have to play that high. Devon Achane has to repeat Pro Bowl season. And above all else, they got to stay healthy. That's it. They got to stay healthy. Those are the things.
I haven't covered a Dolphins team that has stayed healthy my entire career. I promise you, it's not going to happen. Injuries are just,
You asked me the question.
yeah.
What
Injuries are just part of the game. Injuries are just part of the game.
Oh, I know that. Oh,
And you got to make sure that your backups are good. I would say for the Dolphins to deliver 9 victories in 2026, Malik Willis has to give you CJ Stroud numbers. He has to give you that level.
CJ Stroud rookie numbers, correct?
Yes. He has to give you that level of productivity. He has to give you that level of consistency. We did not get a chance to see the running element of Malik Washington because he was working on becoming a pocket passer, and it was certainly much needed. I gotta tell you, it looked like I'm a little spoiled because yes, I've watched some efficient Tua practices, and yes, they're practices. Yes, nobody's hitting him, but I've also seen Chad Pennington. I've seen Ryan Fitzpatrick. I've seen Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler, ooh, he practiced good. This quarterbacking play was not up to that level. And I know he just got here. I know he's learning the offense. I know he doesn't have great weaponry, but I remember watching Ryan Fitzpatrick play with the 2019 Dolphins receivers after Kenny Stills got banished, and he made stuff happen.
Did he still have Devontae Parker, though?
Who is Devontae Parker?
I'm pretty sure that 2019 year he had 1,000 yards, but
again, I ask you, who is Devontae Parker? He retired. The NFL didn't even care.
Oh, shit. He was a big target, which is easier for 2019.
He quit on your Eagles.
1,200 yards in 2019.
He had what?
1,200 yards, 79 catches, 72 catches.
What was he, a game changer?
Shoot, that year he was, because that's number one receiver numbers. No, am I lying to you? That's number one receiver numbers.
That's number one receiver numbers. Let's hope somebody puts up those kind of numbers.
Shoot, my prediction for Malik Washington was in the 700 range, 800 range. But even that would be an improvement for what he's done previously. At least he's no more bubble screens for him. So.
We shall see if the bubble screens go away. On that note, we will be back next week where we will break down the same for the Miami Dolphins defense. For all those who like the Miami Herald's Dolphins in Depth podcast, you can find us on all audio platforms and all streaming sites. We will be here all off season, feeding you until training camp opens in late July. See you next week.